Hey everybody, this is me, Undead Viking. I'm here to talk about the game Kepler 3042. Now, I want to show you something, and I want you... here, this is something that is part of the game. This is on the back of this little player aid that everybody gets about technologies. And yeah, I saw this, I was like, yeah, what the heck? But as with a lot of games that seem like they're going to be really, really complex and difficult to understand, Kepler 3042 ended up being very straightforward and a lot of fun. This is a game that is about space exploration. It is about being a nation on Earth, and everybody's like just starting to get that faster than light drive and what have you, and they're able to finally go out and explore the star systems that are, you know, close enough to Earth to actually investigate and check out. And it is not a game. Yes, it is like an exploration game, but it is not like a 4X game. There is no extermination. It's no like fighting. There's no laser battles or anything like that. So if you're looking for that, I apologize. That doesn't exist. This is a strict science, like resource management, like space game, which I actually was very, very intrigued by the idea of it, and I was very, very I'm not gonna say surprised. I was, after I read the rules, I thought it'd be a lot of fun, and then it turned out to be a lot of fun. So I'm a big fan of, like, when I would play Masters of Orion and Masters of Orion 2, I love the idea of going out to the star system and not knowing exactly what was there, and then you'd find the planets that are on there. And this has that process in it, because you're going out, you're investigating these planets to see, you know, what kind of resources they have, how tough it is to terraform them, and all those things that make the idea of space exploration fun and exciting and you know, just part of that reveal. I like the reveal of games, you know, like keeping things hidden until you finally discover them, that sort of thing. So let me show you how the game is played. It should take a little bit of time, but not too much, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you why I've enjoyed Kepler 3042. Alright, this is Kepler 3042. Now let me show you exactly what you're looking at so you have a good idea of how this game is going to be played. Alright, so at the beginning of the game you are going to set this game up fairly randomly. All of these tiles have a planet on each of them, and some of them are going to have like this little satellite on them, because basically it's an object that we don't really know, and so but we know there's something out there, like our long-range satellite or whatever has been able to detect that there is some sort of heavenly object surrounding that star out there. Now this is Sol. This is where you're going to be starting out. Whenever you create spaceships, unless you create your spaceships around a planet that you have colonized, you will be just placing the ships around this particular star. You can't ever be in the same spot as somebody else's starship, but you can travel through somebody else's starship. As you move out to these planets, your starships will stop on there. They can't leave. Basically, then you colonize. You have to take an action to colonize, but I'll get to that in just a little bit. So just keep in mind, this is the known area of space. It's kind of like this little circle. You might be able to tell it's different colored than everything else. That's the planets that we know about, because they're close enough that our telescopes have been able to tell us exactly what those are. Then further out, you can see there's another line, like right here, and both containing over here as well. That's kind of like the middle range area. Now, why that matters is sometimes you will have an objective that says like a middle range area planets or long range area planets. That's what it is. It doesn't mean that they're better or worse or anything like that. They're just closer, obviously, to get to. And then way out here we have the long range planets as well. So that's as far as the star map is concerned. Over here you have this giant deck of planets, because of the fact that you are kind of going out there, and you can see that each one of these planets has like a number on it. Here's number 28, which is kind of cool because there is 28 different planets, so like the 28th planet is standing right there. Those planets are all located in this deck from 1 to 28. Each of these planets will have their number of the planet on here, and then they'll tell you what, if you produce on them before terraforming, how much like resources you'll get. You'll get one orange resource, which is energy. It'll also tell you you'll get a bonus on which track. There's these two tracks down here. This is the colonial leadership track, and this is the technology leadership track. And so, you'll tell that. Now, if you terraform it, you flip the planet over, and then you can see when you produce, you're getting 1 energy, and you're getting 2 matter, or white cubes, basically. And then there's 1 victory point for getting that. So, like, moving on, like, you can kind of see, like, here's planet number 15, like, and it creates 2 matter, and then if you spend these resources to terraform it, and then notice it's terraforming level 3, so you got to make sure you have the ability to do that with technology. I'll explain that in just a little bit. Then you flip it over, and you can see now it's worth 2 of these, and it's got 4 of the like white cubes if you produce on there, and it's worth 3 victory points. And let's go all the way to the number 28 here, and you can see 28 has it creates an antimatter and 2 energy, and it's worth 2 or whatever. And then you can see if you have all of that and you spend it, and top level in the energy track, you get to flip it over, and you can see it creates 2 antimatter and 2 orange cubes, and it's got 5 victory points that it's going to be worth at the end of the game. So, there's those planets that are out there. There's also a non-planet thing that you can discover, and I have cheated. There's one right here. This is what's called a mine. Now, this isn't going to destroy your ship. Mines are important because if you can get a ship onto that location, and then you colonize, you get to remove your ship from that spot, and you get to regenerate a resource that you've burned. Now you might be saying, well, why would I burn a resource? I'll explain that in just a little bit. Just keep in mind that when you're spending resources to, say, build ships or colonize or terraform planets, you're spending resources, not burning them. But later on, to take special actions, you can burn your resources. And like I said, I'll explain that in just a few moments. This is just a turn tracker. The game lasts 16 rounds. At the end of the 16 rounds, whoever has the most points wins the game. These are the 2 tracks. This is a colonial track. This is a technology track. You will increase on these tracks depending upon, remember the colonial track, as you colonize planets, you'll get points in there. Over here on your technology tree that you have, each person gets one of these. As you increase your technology, you'll get the technology advances as well. There's other ways to get those as well, but just keep in mind that's the main way you're going to do that. As you increase your tokens up here, you can see there is a victory point thing in the middle. So like starting here and the, let's see, that's the 4th spot, 5th spot. That's worth 1 victory point, all the way up to 8 victory points if you manage to go all the way to the end of the track. You will also notice that there's these spots with these resources. You gain resources when you get to those points. You'll also notice that there's these shield tokens. Those are victory point tokens. When anyone passes, like you pass this one here, you take that, you're going to put it onto this card here. I'll explain what that card here is in just a little bit. And then at the end of the current turn, whoever is the furthest along on this track will earn the shield token that happens to be, that matches the color. So this is a purple one, those are blue. You'll earn those, and those are worth victory points at the end of the game. Now this card here that I was showing, this is the beginning of the first turn. You turn this over, and this is just something that is going to affect everybody that's playing. So here is cooperation for expansion. Each player they don't have to, can put a free starship into play. So you just get a free starship at the end of the turn. Some of the other cards that give you power, things that happen, I just dropped those, obviously. Let's see here. So, exploratory planning. The players with the lowest level in space travel can move their starships. The socio-political revolution. The player with the least quantity of metals will automatically get 1 increase to either one of these tracks. Things like that. So it isn't always necessarily everybody gets the bonus. It's just, it depends on. And you do turn that over at the beginning of the turn, so you can kind of try to get that action. So like here's the golden era of progress. All the players produce an antimatter on a planet of their choice. So just things like that. And you do have more of those cards than you have turn 16. So you're not going to see every one of those cards during the game. So you can't plan for certain ones to occur and what have you. Alright, so each person starts with the same amount of finite resources. You get 3 antimatter, you get 7 energy, and 7 matter. And you put, at the beginning, each person's going to have a card that says Earth on it, and you're going to put 3 energy and 3 matter on that. And as I said, remember, Earth obviously is around Sol over here, and as you spend your resources, you'll move your resources back onto your player board, which is here, and this is also your action board. As you produce resources, you'll put them out on planets, either Earth or planets that you've colonized, because you've taken these cards, and then, but once you spend them, they just go back onto this board. If you burn a resource, it goes over here in the Clausius pit, and it stays there until you're able to regenerate it by using that mine that I showed you just a little bit ago. All right, so after you turn this card over, the first player will take their turn, and all they're going to do, and turns are very simple, but complex in a weird way, because you're always trying to plan what your action is this round in preparation for what you're building towards. Now, you get a cube, and you put it in the middle of this board. This is the action board. And you have all these actions that are around it. And you start off in the middle and terraform planets. On your turn, you'll take this cube, and you'll move it to another spot on the board. And then you can, if you want to, take that action that is available to you. Now, then, after you take that action, you have the option to take 1 or 2 bonus actions. You don't have to take any bonus actions. But the bonus actions you can do are dependent upon the action that you took. You look up here, that's a bonus action you can take, and that's a bonus action that you can take. And then you have to burn 1 resource to take a bonus action. So you'd have to burn 2 resources if you wanted to take two bonus actions. Very, very simple, very, very straightforward, but once again, you have to make sure that you have good planning as far as what you're going to be trying to accomplish in that particular round. So just quickly going over these actions so you can see what they are. We have an action here, space missions, just produce starships. They cost 1 matter and 1 energy. You produce any starship that either around Earth or on a planet you've colonized, as long as the resources are available on that spot. Colonized planets, as long as you have a ship on a planet, you can colonize that planet, and then of course you can start getting the resources. Technical development, advance in 1 or more technologies. To advance in technologies, you'll have discs over here. You just have these like little yellow discs, then you place them onto these locations. You'll place 1 on each one of these at the beginning of the game, and then you'll just increase on the tracks, and then it'll tell you it costs like 1 energy here, cost 1 antimatter and 2 energy there, and so forth. And then as you increase, you get better and better rewards. I'll talk more about the technology here in just a little bit. Stellar propulsion, you can move 1 or more of your starships. When you do that, you always are going to be able to move your starships, but that just allows you to have some bonus movement. Terraforming, you can terraform 1 or more planets, just as long as you have the technology to terraform those planets. The galactic map, you get to reveal locations on the board, but also you get to increase on 1 of the tracks on the bottom. You can increase 1 of those 2 if you wish. Then energy storage, produce energy, whatever level of technology you have to produce that energy. Planetary exploitation, depending upon your terraforming technology, you can produce on 0, 1, or 2 planets. And then generate antimatter. You can produce antimatter dependent upon what your antimatter science level is at. So the bonus actions that you may or may not take, I'll go over those. Now, the icons next to these bonus actions are probably going to tell you pretty much what they are. Space Logistics allows you to build 1 starship in any location. You don't have to spend the actual this to do it. You just burn 1 resource. Doesn't matter what the resource is, and you go ahead and build a spaceship next to any planet you have, not necessarily a planet that you had the resource on that you burned. Here with Evolution and Technology, you just get an animatter. Scientific Progress, you increase the scientific track by 1. Civil Modernity, you increase the colonial track by 1. Exploratory Planning, you can move every one of your ships to spaces. And then Exploitation of Near-Earth Objects, you're talking about maybe comets or asteroids or what have you, and then you just get 1 white cube and 1 orange cube for doing so. Now remember, you have to burn a cube to do those, but you can take those bonus actions. So after you've done your bonus actions, then your turn will be over. And and remember, you don't have to do those bonus actions. They're completely up to you. And then you will then, I'm sorry, your turn's not over, but the planning or the action part of your turn is over. And then you will move any of your starships depending upon the level of propulsion technology that you have. You can't move a starship through either the black hole that's over here or through any of the stars. And remember, like I said, you can't move. You can move through somebody else's spaceship, but you can't stop there. And if you ever end up on a planet, you have to stop on that planet. After you've moved, you can then go ahead and withdraw your starships. When you withdraw your starships, basically what you're doing is you just remove them from the game board and put them back in your supply. This is how you would then, because you're not colonizing, this is how you use the mine locations to regenerate any possible resources that you may have lost. You can also withdraw starships from anywhere on the board. They don't have to be on a location. Perhaps you've just moved it out so far that you just feasibly next turn you could create that starship, because you are limited to 3 starships. Feasibly, like if you had a starship out here and somebody beat you to the planet and you couldn't do it, and it's going to take forever to get them to go all the way, but you have a planet, say like this one. You've colonized this planet over here. It's easier for you to remove it and then rebuild it over in this location the next turn, so then you can move it and to get it closer. So you can withdraw a planet no matter where it is. Once the complete turn is done, you will then resolve the card and then award any of these shield tokens that might end up on that card and hand those out. Those are going to be worth 1 victory point at the end. Then you move the first player token, which is this little spaceship here, to the person to the first player's on their right, and then that person begins the next turn by going through the process. Now, the one thing I didn't show you that I said I was going to show you was I was going to show you the different technologies, because this is important, because the different technologies do affect a lot of the things that happen. So here's like the space travels. This is the movement of starships. So remember, you start off right here. So a lot of these times, you're going to need to get them over to these locations to be able to use them. But remember, moving to starships, you can move your starships through other means, through the different actions on the action board, and also with, the burning of technology to do it. Burning of resources to do it. But but as you increase these, like this would cost 1 white cube, and then you can have a light speed engine that goes 1, and then so forth and so on and so forth. The bonus here at the end, it's going to be worth 2 victory points if you get to the end. But the bonus there at the end is the fact that to create a starship, it only costs 1 energy then. Because you don't need to use matter to create your spaceships anymore. Quantum physics allows you to transfer resources. Basically, then you'll have planets that are creating resources, but like you want to move those resources to another planet, so then you can spend those to build a spaceship in those locations. So, and there are lots of other reasons as well. But this allows you to move more and more resources with quantum physics. Antimatter science allows you to go ahead and create antimatter when you take that action, but also you have to have a high level of antimatter science to be able to actually be on alien colonies, alien planets, these high-level ones. So you have to have that higher-level technology to be able to then go ahead and colonize those. Energy production just increases the amount of energy that as you do. So when you take that action, you increase more energy. And once again, remember, all of these are giving these victory points on the end there. But then when you at the here, if you see this, the top level there, that allows you because it's the theory of everything. This allows you, when you burn the technology to take bonus actions, you only have to burn 1 of whatever. 1 matter, 1 energy, 1 antimatter, and then you get to take both of the bonus actions when you burn just 1, which is obviously a very good power to have. And then finally, terraforming. You can see that terraforming. Each level of terraforming allows you to terraform a higher level planet, as denoted by that bar on the bottom. And then when you actually do your produce on the different planets that you have. At this level, you're only allowed to produce on one planet. So you might colonize a planet, but if you haven't moved your terraforming up, you can't actually produce any resources on that planet. But then when you take it on this action here, on both of those, you produce on one planet, and on this level, in either one of those, you produce on 2 separate planets. So there you go. That's the different technologies and the bonuses for doing that. All right, so I didn't show like everybody moving, everybody taking action, but I just want to give you a good overview of the rules. The great thing about this game is that it really allows you for long-term planning. You will create spaceships and starships, and you'll be getting them out to other locations, and it'll take a little bit of time to get there. But along the way, then you're increasing your technology, or you're producing resources on Earth or other places, and you're just kind of getting set up so when you eventually get to the locations that you're colonizing those planets, and then you are resetting yourself up to produce, more ships in different locations and different things, increasing different technologies, moving along these 2 tracks, all of those things. And so you're kind of juggling 2 or 3 balls in the air at once, but I like that. I like the long-term planning portion of this game. Plus, it's really cool to think of the space exploration and the kind of the immersion that you have in this game that really is, a very, very thematic Euro, which is something that I very much enjoy. But let me talk about all of that in a little more detail in my final thoughts. All right, thank you very much for taking the time to watch the how-to for Kepler 3042. That's kind of neat. I don't have a box. I apologize. I can't flip anything in the air. Nah, you're probably bored of that anyway. But regardless, I hope I've explained both in my introduction and how the game is played, why I knew I was going to dig this game. I love the idea of going off into space and finding stuff, whether it is, star systems, black holes, planets, comets, whatever. I like games that let me experience that. And most of the time when you play games like this, I played games like this on a computer, where you're just playing solo, and you don't feel like any kind of real insistence or rush, because you're playing against a computer opponent and you kind of learn that computer opponent, what have you. But admittedly, those games had the whole laser battles. But as I said, the most fun part for me for Masters of Orion and games like that was the whole discovery part of it. After you've kind of found out all the star systems, and it just turned into this just one big giant laser battle after another, I didn't enjoy the game as much. I liked the searching and the finding, and that's probably why I liked this game as much as I do, because of the whole what's out there, kind of thing. And because of the fact that you have, these several different things that you're going for, I didn't really go over the point structure, and I apologize for that, but, you get points for colonizing planets, you get points for increasing your technology, you get points, for your secret objective, and so on and so forth. You're going to have tons of places that you get points, and that's a good thing about the game, too, because it isn't just one of those things where it's like, planets, get as many planets, because then everybody would just be racing to just grab the planets as fast as they can. And as a matter of fact, you can only colonize 5 planets in the entire game, which is good because of the fact that there's so many planets that are out there. That the fact that even with a 4-player game, you're not going to colonize each and every single one of them. There's going to be, and so you have to kind of pick and choose. And so that's a wonderful decision to make. Do I colonize this thing that's real close to me, and then for a quick grab, for a quick resource thing, or maybe just as a place where I can I can start my spaceships a little close, a little further out, so I can use that as the station to move more spaceships out and those sorts of things. And so I like that. And one of the good things about the game is that you never really feel like you can't do anything. So you haven't got a real good energy producing planet yet. Everybody else seems to have one, but you haven't found a good one yet. Well, you still have the option, to increase your energy creation technology and just use that as an action. And I do like the whole action tablet or the action card that you have where you move your cube around, and that because that prevents somebody from just doing the same thing over and over and over again. You know, it's like, and so because and also because of the fact that you have to pick that and then plan ahead for the intersection of your bonus actions as well. And the thing is that you might, when you first play the game, you're like, oh, I don't want to burn up my my resource cubes to, you know, take these bonus actions, but you kind of have to. I mean, especially if everybody else is, because everybody else is going to be doing more stuff than on their turn, and they're going to get ahead of you. And the thing is that because nobody can populate those locations, those mine locations, you can get out to them and use them, and then people have to remove their ship from that spot, and so then somebody else can then use it. Now, I've had a couple of games where people have gone and just planted a ship on that spot and just said, okay, no, nobody can use this because I'm not going to withdraw my ship. Remember, you can't move your ship off that spot, which I guess theoretically you do, but then you're down to only 2 starships, so you're kind of hamstringing yourself. Even though you think you're kind of hurting everybody else, you're also not using all of the starships you possibly could. So, I mean, there's all kinds of cool little decisions and cool little ideas that you have going on in the game, and all of those kind of combine together to make this game just a fun race for victory points space exploration game. That, I mean, really, I haven't really played a game like this. I mean, I guess theoretically you could, you know, change the theme and it'd be kind of the same thing, but I dig the space theme, and I dig, like I said, that exploration part of it. So if you're looking for a game that is like, you know, I guess Space 3X maybe without the extermination part of it, I'd strongly suggest checking out Kepler 3042. I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised at the ease of gameplay, the insertion of the theme into the enjoyment, and just a very, very slick game, mechanicisms wise, if you will. All right, cool. If you have any questions about Kepler 3042, ask away. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, I'm the Undead Viking, telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.